Hello. So I was going to have a normal podcast today talking about my whips and projects, except my last video talking about Apple Crafts being unofficially closed, I put 13 seconds of a song in there and I got shadow banned by YouTube. So I figured, because it's been a while since I've done that, and I know that if I put a video that even gets flagged a little bit for 13 freaking seconds of a song, that the next video after that they lift it, but it's not a normal video, so I don't get my normal amount of views. Not that, 40 views is normal, but that's normal for me. So today we're going to have a sock video instead because I got to change arms. Oh well, never mind. Okay, anyway, so today we're going to have a sock video because I don't know how many pairs of socks I have, and a couple of years ago I came up with this arbitrary number of socks that I wanted to have before I started slowing down on making socks. Who knows if that's actually going to happen, but I have this number of 80 in my head. Like I wanted to have 80 pairs of socks. I don't know why I chose this number. Like it was just completely arbitrary. But I just need to know how many pairs of socks I have so I know where I'm at. So let me turn you around and show you what I got going on. Okay, so in this box, I've got a bunch of socks. And then in this box are socks that I am currently using. Well, it's summer, but in the spring and fall, these are socks that I pulled out. So we're going to go through that. And then in this box, we have socks. Now, I do not have categories in the sense that I want to have X amount of colorwork socks, X amount of shorties, X amount of DK, X amount of fingering weight. I have not done that, although I kind of like that idea, so I might do that, but it depends on what I got going on right now first. So I'm going to categorize this and then kind of go through them a little bit quickly because we don't want to be here all day, but I do want to show off the socks. So let's see what we have. So far unused, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pairs of shorties. And I don't know why I'm knitting so many shorties because I have literally here in Tennessee 3 weeks out of the year that I can wear shorties before it's too hot to wear shorties. So I don't know why I have so many. I think maybe, and I do remember saying this a long time ago, that I'm planning for my future. So maybe I feel like I'm going to wear these as I get older. Who knows? Because right now it's not happening. But anyway, a lot of these are yarns that I got at Smart Art Supply thrift shop in Nashville. So I don't know what these yarns are. This was mine. I know that, but I don't think it had a name. Might have been Plasma Apocalypse. I'm not sure. Um, this was a plain undyed, and the stripes, I don't know. Like I said, a lot of these yarns came from the thrift shop if they're not my own. This is another one of mine. This was a different dye lot of Plasma Apocalypse. This is a really nice blend. I don't carry this blend. Well, I should say I've never carried this blend. It is merino, yak, and nylon, I think it was. And it came from the supplier that one of the suppliers I used to get my yarn from. And oh, if you can get your hands on like some merino yak, this yarn is nice. It's luscious. It holds up. It's soft, but like it has some structure. It's really nice. Okay. These two are mine. This was something I dyed like when I first started dyeing yarn, and I really couldn't tell you. I don't even think I ever sold it. Uh, this I don't know what that was. This was November in Tennessee. I had that for a little while. That was mine. This I think is a Felici. Another pair of shorties, Herding Cats by Charlotte Stone. I messed up on one of the cats. What did I do? Oh, yeah, on the black cat. I don't know what I was doing, but I did that all the way around on like both socks. I do 2 at a time. Like, what was I thinking? I have no idea. I needed to get off the floor for a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to quickly go over what I took out of the boxes, and then I'm going to lay out the fingering weight socks and the socks that I had in that small little Boxu box. So we're going to go over the Colorwork socks, DK, and the shorties that I'm not wearing. Okay, so most of these are Charlotte Stone, and some of them are charts that I've either found on Ravelry or Pinterest. So like this is upside down. This gingerbread one was a bunch of different options, and you can kind of just pick which one you wanted. So I did gingerbread squirrel in a house. Right next to it, also upside down, are the alien heads. That's Charlotte Stone. Tulips and mushrooms, that's up there. It's Charlotte Stone. Coffee, I don't remember the name of that one, but that's all Charlotte Stone. This, I don't know who is the designer for that one, but that was a cat one. Charlotte Stone. That was a graph I think I found on Ravelry somewhere for free. That's Charlotte Stone. I did that mushroom sock again over here. Holly and Ivy, I think, is that one. Charlotte Stone. The bat ones. All this is Charlotte Stone. Okay, so when it comes to those Colorwork socks, I will look at the pattern and then figure out, one, if I'm in the mood to do the whole sock in a pattern, and sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not, which is why sometimes you'll see the pattern just on the top, unless the pattern is made that way. Like these bat socks, for instance, I did not do bats on the bottom. I wore these for Halloween, so they're a little bit stretched out, but I did do the motif on the top. Although the heart ones, I did the whole foot. This one was in 52 weeks of socks, but it's her pattern, and I did the whole foot. Alien ones, I didn't do the bottom, I just did the top, because the thing is that when I do Colorwork socks, I have to go up to 72 stitches, and my normal sock is 62 stitches. So I have to do a bunch of increasing, and then if I want to go to the heel, I gotta rapidly decrease, do the heel, and then rapidly increase again to do the color work. That's what works for me, and it fits fine, but it's just an issue of whether or not I want to fool with all that. So that's that. These here are knee highs. I will open a pair up for you. So where's the heel? So there's my foot right here, and then it goes all the way up to here. So basically what I do is I do a long leg, and then I'll do 2 increases per row, like, I don't know, 2 increases in a row for, like, when I get to like maybe like the bottom of the calf, do like an inch or so, do another increase, and then that's it, all the way up to like past my calf muscle. So that's what I do for my knee highs. And that's just, this is the DK. They're all DK, and it's all basically scraps. This yarn is oh my god, why is her name escaping me? Passion Knits. This was a mix of mine, which is Forest Floor and Barocco Vintage, and I don't know what this was. Okay, off the floor. All right, this is all various DK and stripes, scraps. What else? Some patterning, like this is Hermione's Everyday Sock, and this yarn I know is Expression Fiber Arts. Couldn't tell you the name though. This is mine. This is Bubblegum Baby Goth. These are all scraps. And this is the Scrunch sock, I think. This was a Patton's Croix, I think. Pretty sure that's a Patton's Croix. This is my color, Under the Sea or something like that. You think I'd remember my own colors? Yorkshire Spinners. DK Scraps. This is Madeline Tosh. This pink here. More scrap. And then these are shorties. There we go. Alright, so I don't want to count yet because this is not everything. I have to get my fingering weight out and my other socks out and then figure out what I got going on. These are On the Porch by Tracy Miller of Grocery Girls. I actually had to reverse engineer that so the stitching might look different if you've knitted this pattern because they're top down. I don't do top down, so that's why it looks like that. At some point I figured out that shorty socks is just not going to do it, so I started making boot socks. So basically it's just with the shorties I probably stop like right there past the heel, and with the boot socks I just add another inch or two, and I find that fits really well for me, because with shorties and boots it feels kind of weird, but like if I go to this length then it's great. So I'm going to put this in its own category because even though this is DK weight, it's not a normal length sock for me. So yeah, I'm going to be doing that. Color palette socks. This was my first pair of color palette socks. I had to think about the name of this one. Bonfire Nights. And this is Hermione's Everyday Sock. Another pair of color palette socks. Color palette socks, there's a really good pattern for getting rid of scrap, as long as you have enough contrast. Okay, so now I'm in my worn socks, so they're going to look a little bit used and abused. This is Feet Teeth Sock by Summer Lee. In my Pride colorway, and I don't know what this red is. Oh, I think I practiced a heel flap and gusset with these too. I don't like the heel flap and gusset for my foot. It feels weird, so I just kind of stick to an afterthought heel or the short row heel. You've probably seen this pattern hanging around. Let me do this side, that looks better. It's a pain in the butt to knit because of all the color changes, because you don't have a lot of rows going on there before you keep changing colors, but it's so cool, and I'm definitely going to knit another pair of these. I might do full length, even though I'm going to hate myself for doing it. I'll put the name of the pattern on the screen because I don't remember, but yeah, these are really cool. This was Earth Yarns. They don't have names of their colors on the tags. You have to go to the website to do that. Sorry, I'm not really going to do all that. But in case you're curious about these are Earth Yarns. I'm going to put the name of the pattern of this on the screen as well. This is Nancy Wheeler from 52 Weeks of Socks. The two patterns that I've knit from 52 Weeks of Socks are volume 2, not volume 1. This was like, I think the second pair of socks I ever knit that had a short row heel, so we're going back, ooh, when did I start knitting socks? 2019, so 2020 probably. These are from 2020. I don't wear them that often. That's why they're still around, because a pair of socks, I don't wear a lot of socks throughout the year, as in like changing them out often. Like I'll wash them, but I don't wear like 10 or 20 pairs in a season. It might be like 4 or 5, but I'll wash them out like after a couple of wears. Um, so that's probably why these are still around, because I don't wear them that much. Okay, so like we said, that was on the porch. Tracy Miller. A lot of these I really don't know the colors of anymore, so I'm just, like I said, I'm just here to count. So, yeah, a lot of these are scrappy. I know that one's a Madeline Tosh. A lot of these in that color palette are mine. Spiced apple pie. That was a one of a kind. That one there. I never named it. That was years and years ago. I don't remember what yarn this was, but it's absolutely freaking horrid. I hated it. I threw it away. I was like, I can't even with that. Actually, no, I think I'm putting it in my random square blanket, which I don't even know if I want to do that, honestly. It's such a horrid yarn. This was a bamboo merino, which is really nice. A lot of these colors are mine. That's the earth yarn. This one's mine. That's emerald, and then diamond, and oh jeez, Emerald Coast, Pride. That's not mine. I don't know what that is. Bonfire Nights. That's mine. That was a color that I didn't give a name for. I just dyed it up for somebody else and had some left over. That's Delta Blue. And then the boot sock. And then the shorties that I pulled out for me to wear, which I need to put away or do something because I'm not going to be wearing them again until like October because it's just that hot here. So now it's time to count and put these away. Okay, the angle looks all weird and whatever. Okay, so I have a lot of numbers that are near each other, which is interesting because I did not plan it that way. I decided for my categories to make it simple instead of going, okay, how many boot socks do I have in fingering and DK and color work, and how many fingering do I have in DK, and how many finger do I have in color work and boot sock size and shorty. I wasn't going to do that. So my categories are color work shorties, regular shorties, fingering weight socks, color work socks, DK weight socks, and knee high. So basically, if it's a textured sock or a vanilla sock or a scrap sock, it's in the same category. The only time I'm separating that is if it's in color work, because I feel like that's, there's more work involved there. So I have 3 pairs of color work shorties, 10 pairs of regular shorties, so 13 altogether. And then I've got 15 pairs of fingering weight socks, 16 pairs of color work socks, 16 pairs of DK weight socks, and 3 pairs of knee high. So I will fast forward you through the math. Wow, is that right? If you got the number, scream it out loud. I'm just going to double check my work. Yeah, 63 pairs of socks. And I'm currently working on a pair of socks that I will show you next time, and a pair of socks that's in my bag that always goes with me. So when that's done, it'll be 65. This is not counting socks that I gift, because there's not a whole lot of people I gift to. There's 3 people, because nobody in my life wants anything. Fine, whatever, I don't care. So most of the stuff that I knit is for me, or if I'm like, I would knit for charity, but then I have to change the medium that I use. Like, most of these places don't want wool, unless maybe I donate to like someplace like in a cold environment like Canada or something, like way up north in Canada. I'd rather stay local. And I donated a lot of my acrylic yarns to a lady down the street that does recreation at an assisted living place. So I don't have a lot of acrylic unless I'm specifically using it for like one of my blanket patterns that I'm doing right now. And then I'm just buying it in as I need it to finish that blanket. But basically, once I'm done using most of my scraps, I'm probably not going to be using acrylic anymore because I don't really normally use it. I'm definitely a yarn for every project. It's just, it's not something that I use often. So anyway, so I have 63 pairs of socks. This is not the year of the sock. Last year was. I think last year I knit like 35 pairs of socks. Something like that. That has not happened this year, but that's okay. This year is the year of the blanket, and that's okay. Every year is going to be a little bit different, but I'm always going to be knitting socks. So I feel like by the middle of next year, I should hit my goal, my arbitrary goal of 80 pairs of socks. At that point, I don't know what I'm going to do. I do like the idea of having like a set number for each category. So what I'll probably do, even though I really don't need any more shorties, so I might not do any more shorties. I don't need them. I might do more boot socks. I did include the boot socks in the shorty category. So I would think that out of those 13 pairs of the shorties, I probably have three or four pairs that are boot sock out of that. And that's really all I need. I may do a few more boot socks. But I think a cool 20 out of everything would be cool. 20 pairs of fingering, 20 pairs of color work, 20 pairs of DK. I don't know if I want to do 20 pairs of knee highs, because once you get past, like, you know, the normal leg length, it's a slog. I ain't gonna lie. And I don't know, I'll see how I feel as I get older. Maybe I'll like it when I hit, like, you know, my 70s or something, who knows. Or maybe I'm just gonna think it's too much of a pain in the butt to wear and I won't wear them at all and I'll give them away. Yeah. Alright, so that's all I got for today. If you stuck around this long, thank you. Shadow banning sucks, even though they say they don't shadow ban. Yes, they do. And so I don't expect to get a lot of views on this video, but I expect to get more than I got my last video. Go check out my last video if you like. I'm just kind of putting up all the yarn that didn't sell that I wanted to keep up on my shelf. And I do show off some of the yarn that I have listed on eBay in that video. But I will see you in about a week or two with a normal podcast where I should get normal numbers. All right, I'll see you later. Bye.